you talk about overall production, but maybe we can drill down into some specific examples of how using MediaValet has helped your team accelerate a project or campaign. And anyone who's been to WHOI will or familiar with WHOI will know about the Titanic and that discovery, that's pretty incredible footage. But maybe is there a specific project or campaign where MediaValet helped you accelerate
Yeah.
that activity?
Well, I'll jump right into why not talk about Titanic, right?
Why not? It's pretty cool stuff.
Well, fun fact, this year, September, is 40 years since the discovery of the wreck of the Titanic in 1985.
Huh.
So it's on this nice little anniversary of the discovery. And that project, I think it was maybe the end of 2022, where we were doing this audit of all these hard drives. And my colleague, Jane Doucette, came across a huge treasure trove of footage from, we have these like back in the 80s, we had this towed sled that had cameras on it. And that's
Yeah.
how they were searching for the
Yeah.
wreck, and it had video cameras and all these lights. And we found the original footage from that. And so we were able to kind of pass all that footage through Media Valet and organize a strategy around pitching to the news outlets. So the news media could kind of help promote this, we'll call it like a re-release of this footage. And the cool thing about the footage was that it was never really released in its raw format. So it had been used, picture clips out of like an hour long tape. Clips had been used in various documentaries and exhibits and stuff like that, but it had never really been put out there for the public to just watch how it unfolded. And so that was the angle we went with, and we
Mhm.
coincided the release of that footage with the 20th anniversary of the Titanic film itself. So it was kind of
Okay.
this fun play on what's happening in the news. That whole project really elevated and took our online um, audience engagement to the next level across YouTube, social media. Our news and media mentions went through the roof. We still have an asterisk on that year because it was just so high, all those things. And that just has a cascading effect across all of the other initiatives we do in terms of communicating who he does and building an audience and engaging that audience. And that kind of carries through the following years because you can re-engage those
Mhm.
audiences. And so that was like a major, probably the biggest impact, most impactful project that we did utilizing Media Valet, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a fascinating subject, and yeah, just like I said, you've got some amazing footage of the Titanic, but just in general, I think the work that Hui does to uh, locate missing, it could be aircraft, just learning how the oceans work. It's amazing
Yeah.
footage.
No, we have the most some of the most intelligent researchers,
Yeah.
scientists, engineers working in some of the hardest places in the world to work, which is the ocean. It's unforgiving. And we have some of the most
Mhm.
specialized robotics that can access various parts of the ocean, and they all have cameras on them. So it's like kind of this full
Yeah.
story where you kind of have these people putting these vehicles out in the ocean, capturing footage in various ways. And now we have on our end as communicators, we're trying to figure out how to best utilize that footage to tell the story, to get a following, to re-engage, and ultimately get people involved in supporting our mission. So it's kind
Yeah.
of this full circle, and Media Valley is a perfect kind of platform to help us do that.
Yeah, when we look at digital asset management, we think of things like, there's obviously the brand governance and ensuring that in the case of Hui that it's being used the correct way. But there's also, we go back to that democratizing content. It's the distribution of content to the right people at the right time for the right purposes.